A very good morning to all of you. Students, today we will start second chapter and the name of chapter is Rights in the Indian Constitution. We will discuss this chapter with introduction about constitution which we read in chapter number 1. Now again let's recall. A constitution is not only about the composition of various organs of the government and the relation among them, as we studied in the last chapter, but the constitution is a document that sets limit on the powers of the government and ensures a democratic system in which all persons enjoy certain rights. In this chapter, we shall study the fundamental rights contained in the Indian Constitution. Part 3 of the Constitution of India lists the fundamental rights and also mentions the limits on these rights. In the past 50 years, पिछले 50 सालों में, the scope of rights has changed and in some respects expanded, और कहीं कहीं पर तो बढ़ोतरी भी हुई है. After studying this chapter, you would know first what are the various fundamental rights. Though we have studied the fundamental rights in class 9th also, but again we will learn the fundamental rights listed in the Constitution of India. Number 2, how these rights are protected. Number 3, what role the judiciary has played in protecting and interpreting these rights. And number 4, what is the difference between the fundamental rights and the directive principles of state policy. Now let's start with the chapter, and first of all we will start it with importance of rights. Students, in 1982 during the construction work of Asian Games, जब हमारे यहाँ पर एशियन गेम्स की होने की बात हुई थी 1982 में, तो उसके लिए कंस्ट्रक्शन करना था, स्टेडियम बनाने थे, फ्लाईओवर्स बनाने थे, बहुत सारी चीज़ें बनानी थी. सो द गवर्नमेंट इंगेज्ड few contractors. These contractors employed a large number of very poor construction workers from different parts of the country to build the flyovers and stadiums. These workers were kept in poor working conditions and were paid less than minimum wages decided by the government. After some time, a team of social scientists studied their poor condition and petitioned in the Supreme Court. They argued, उन्होंने इस बात पर बहस की, that employing a person to work for less than the minimum wages, prescribed wages, accounts to बेगार. उसका मतलब माना जाता है या तो बेगार, जिसको हम forced labor भी कहते हैं, which is a violation of fundamental right against exploitation. The court accepted this plea and directed the government to ensure that thousands of workers get the prescribed wages for their work. Now let's have a example. This is one of the example. Now second example, Machal Laung was 23 when he was arrested. He was a resident of Chuburi village of Morigaon district of Assam. Machal was charged of causing grievous injury, कि किसी को बहुत बुरी तरह से मारा पीटा है. He was found mentally too unstable, तो उसको पता लगा कि ये mentally unstable आदमी है, to stand trial and was sent as under trial to लोकप्रिय गोपीनाथ बारदोई मेंटल हॉस्पिटल इन तेजपुर फॉर ट्रीटमेंट. उसको मेंटल हॉस्पिटल में भेज दिया ट्रीटमेंट के लिए. Machal was treated successfully and doctor wrote twice. 2 बार डॉक्टर ने जेल अथॉरिटीज़ के पास 2 बार लेटर डाला. In 1967 and 1996 that he was fit to stand trial, कि अब वो कसूरवार मतलब अपने पनिशमेंट लेने के लिए रेडी है, but no one paid any attention. Machal Laung remained in judicial custody और वो पूरा टाइम ऐसे ही रहा. Machal Laung was released in July 2005. He was 77 then. 77 साल का हो चुका था और 23 साल का था तब उसको अरेस्ट किया गया था और मेंटल हॉस्पिटल में भेजा गया था. He spent 54 years under custody, during which his case never came up for hearing. He was freed when a team appointed, तब फ्री हुआ जब एक टीम अपॉइंट की नेशनल ह्यूमन राइट्स कमीशन ने, उसको इंटरवेंट, बीच में इंटरफियर किया, आफ्टर एन इंस्पेक्शन ऑफ अंडर ट्रायल इन द स्टेट. मचाल्स एंटायर लाइफ वॉज वेस्टेड, पूरी लाइफ वेस्ट होगी, बिकॉज अ प्रॉपर ट्रायल अगेंस्ट हिम नेवर टुक प्लेस, कोई सुनवाई नहीं हुई उसकी. आवर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन गिव्स एवरी सिटीजन द राइट टू लाइफ एंड लिबर्टी. दिस मीन्स दैट एवरी सिटीजन मस्ट ऑल्सो हैव द राइट टू फेयर एंड स्पीडी ट्रायल. हर किसी को बिल्कुल सही सही सुनवाई होगी और उसका फैसला जल्दी से होगा. Machal's case shows that what happens when rights granted by the Constitution are not available in practice. Now let's see. What if Machal was a rich and powerful man? वो तो गरीब था इसलिए नहीं सुनवाई हुई, लेकिन अगर वो अमीर और पावरफुल होता तो what if those working with the construction contractor were engineer? वो तो वर्कर्स थे, अगर वो इंजीनियर होते तो would their rights have been violated? No, their rights would have not been violated. Now let's move further. In the case of the first instance जो वर्कर्स का था, also there was violation, वहाँ पर भी violation हुआ rights का, provided in the constitution, but it was challenged in the court, लेकिन कोर्ट में उसको तो उसके अगेंस्ट मुकदमा हो गया. As a result, workers could get what was due to them in the form of their rightful wages. तो उनको मिल गया जो उनका अधिकार था. The constitutional guarantee of the rights against exploitation ensured justice to these workers. ये तो फर्स्ट केस में तो हो गया, लेकिन सेकंड केस में तो कुछ नहीं हुआ. Now let's move further and let's see what is Bill of Rights. Both these examples show the importance of having rights. दोनों से हमें पता लगता है राइट्स की कितनी इम्पोर्टेंस है, कितना महत्व है, एंड ऑफ द एक्चुअल इम्प्लीमेंटेशन, और अगर वो सही सही से लागू हो जाए तो, ऑफ दीज राइट्स. A democracy must ensure that individuals have certain rights and that the government will never recognize these rights. Therefore, it is often a practice in most democratic countries to list the rights of the citizen in the constitution itself. क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से कुछ नहीं है इसका ऊपर, तो ये तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में है, इसलिए ये ज़रूरी है कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में ये लिखे होने चाहिए. Such a list of rights mentioned and protected by the Constitution is called the Bill of Rights. Now underline this. A list of rights which are mentioned and protected by the Constitution is called the Bill of Rights. A Bill of Rights prohibits, ये गवर्नमेंट को मना करता है, from thus acting against the rights of the individual and ensures, और पक्का करता है, a remedy, कि इसका जरूर रेमेडी मिलेगी in case there is violation of these rights. But from whom does a constitution protect the rights of the individual? अब क्वेश्चन आता है कि किससे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इन राइट्स को बचाएगा. द राइट्स ऑफ अ पर्सन मे बी थ्रेटन्ड बाय अनदर पर्सन. कभी कभी तो एक आदमी का अधिकार दूसरा आदमी भी छीनने की कोशिश करता है, और प्राइवेट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. इन सच अ सिचुएशन द इंडिविजुअल वुड नीड द प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट. तो इस सिचुएशन में इंडिविजुअल को ज़रूरत पड़ेगी गवर्नमेंट की कि वो उसके अधिकारों को बचाए. So it is necessary that the government is bound to protect the rights of the individual. On the other hand, the organs of government, means the legislature, the executive, bureaucracy, or even the judiciary, in the course of their functioning may violate the rights of the person. So this is all for the day, and tomorrow we will be starting the fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution. This is all, okay, and by that time, bye.